Hello everyone and welcome back to the Hexagon Challenge here on Shaun Does FM. I hope you are doing well. Today is the MTN8 final and we are taking on the defending African Champions League winners in Bloemfontein Celtic. So if you're looking forward to that, hopefully we can win our first bit of silverware here at SuperSport United. Then remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you're new around here and enjoy what you see, also hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. It is greatly appreciated. So before we get into today's game, we have played 2 games off camera, I believe, since yesterday's episode. A very tight Pretoria derby where we were able to pick up a 2-1 win. A couple of late goals there in the game against the Mamelodi Sundowns. If you did miss that episode, I will leave a link in the top right corner for you. But 2 games since then. First off, we had to tidy up the qualification game in the Champions League, and we were able to do that, closing out that with a 1-0 win in the second leg after a 5-0 win in the first against the AC Leopards. Very quiet game this one. We dominated things throughout, but it took us until the 31st minute to get the only goal. Nunes with a long run and then a powerful strike into the top left corner. So it was worth the wait. It was a very good individual goal from Leloho Nono Nunes. He was able to pick up the only goal and we got a nice 1-0 win. And if you look at the stats, you can see probably what we deserve. We possibly could have got 2 goals in that game, maybe even 3. We hit the woodwork once, but a game that we did dominate, and in the end we won 6-0 on aggregate. The AC Leopards really struggling to fire a shot across both legs, and we went through 6-0 on aggregate. So some stage after today's episode, I imagine we will have the Champions League draw at some stage, and that might be coming up soon as well, the start of the group stage of that competition, albeit I think we will be able to skip over a few group games this time around, considering the quality of the teams that aren't loaded into this African database. We're just gone with the vanilla one here. In Africa, it's only the South African teams loaded. The rest of them are all managerless and just making up the numbers. So you'd think we'll get to the later stages of that competition, but we will see. But it should give us the opportunity to go through the group stage a little bit quicker than we were when we were in both Europe and South America. And off the back of that, leading into today's game, we did play Bloca. We put out the rotation team yet again for this. It's been a little while since our first team had a game, but we did pick up a very nice 4-0 win away from home here. Things started off well. After 7 minutes, Mateza was making his way down the right-hand side, puts the ball into the midfield. Kubeka, lovely ball for Gordinho, and a really nice finish into the bottom right corner to make it 1-0. Early on then in the 25th minute, we got a penalty. Leroux just able to blast that past the goalkeeper. Not the greatest penalty, but had enough power on it to make it 2-0, and that was the half-time score. Then we got just before the hour mark, and Monyani put a ball in the mixer. Mormadi with a header towards the far post. It might have been going in anyway, but Kenny Mahua made sure of it once he came on off the bench. And then a couple of minutes later, we made it 4-0. Gordinho picking up his second of the game. Kubeka playing him in yet again. So a nice, comfortable 4-0 win to keep our good run of form in the Premier Division going. You look at the stats, we were a lot more clinical in front of goal than we were in that prior game against the AC Leopards, with more or less what was the same starting 11. Barocca a few more shots than the Leopards, but we dealt with it well, and a very nice win for us. Keep this good run of form we've had since joining SuperSport going. So what that means for the league is that we are now 3 points clear of the Black Leopards. They're the team that's giving chase to us the most, which is a little bit surprising, but we've still got teams that are catching up games. But on the whole, we are going to be 3 points clear of whoever's behind us anyway, because Bloemfontein Celtic did drop points, losing a game to the Orlando Pirates. So we're in a pretty good position, and the more we win the league, hopefully we can pinch a nice break before we do crack into that Champions League group stage. It would just give us a little bit more freedom to rest our first team and play the rotation in those league games should we need to, and yeah, we can focus on that competition if that is the case, while also hopefully maintaining a good lead in the league. So that's how we're looking so far. Things going very well. Yet to lose a game since we've joined the club, but today this is our biggest test today. I've said it a few times since we've come to SuperSport so far, but it definitely is the defending champions of Africa in Bloemfontein Celtic. And yeah, you can see the one Champions League that they did win was last year, and they've also picked up a couple of other African Cup titles along the way, as well as a Confederation Cup, which here in Africa is sort of like the Europa League for Africa. So that's the second tier. They've picked up a second division title, the MTN8 3 times, the other knockout competition, the Telkom 3 times, and they won the Super Cup. I imagine that's earlier this year as well, and it was. So they are a team who can definitely win trophies, especially at the moment, and they will provide. I'm expecting our sternest test to date in this game, but hopefully we can get the job done over them and pick up our first bit of silverware here at SuperSport United. We are off to nearby surroundings, Loftus Versfeld, and we will see you shortly for team sheets from there for this MTN8 final. So here are the team sheets for this game. Bloemfontein Celtic, we are going to go over first. They are drawn as the home team. Phil April is a very good centre-back for them, a player we nearly looked at bringing into the team in the past transfer window. Otherwise, not a lot of names there that I recognise. As I've said a couple of times now, we haven't been in South Africa that long, although both of their goalkeepers, Christodoulou on the bench and Lekesa and goal, are both pretty good goalkeepers, probably better than both the goalkeepers we have. And Christodoulou is rated as the media 11 starting goalkeeper, so interesting to see him on the bench. So maybe they're not putting out their full strength lineup, but still a pretty good team that we're going to be taking on here, albeit we probably have more depth across the pitch. We are going with our first choice lineup, no injury concerns going into this game, so hopefully we can get the job done. And as I said, our first bit of silverware here at SuperSport. And Bloemfontein Celtic are going with a 4-2-3-1. It looks like they'll be in the dark green and we will be in the blue with the red top that you are familiar with. This is a team that historically we were seeing from the home screen before we jumped into those team sheets. Our recent results against this team, albeit before we got here, not good at all. A lot of red downward dots there. So this is a team we're not used to beating, but hopefully now that we're in charge, that will change. And it is going to be Bloemfontein Celtic kicking off, playing left to right. And yeah, hopefully we can nullify these guys. They've been a bit iffy in the league so far. 4 games, 4 free wins and a loss. So our league form's better than them, and hopefully we can carry that over into this MTN8 as we do have an early throw in that Mofokeng finds Boyson from. He puts the ball into the mixer. It doesn't find Mahua. That was the target. Headed out to Olivares, and we look to build another attack. Walters back out to Olivares on the overlap. Inside the box, ball for Malangu, but his shot is blocked. So we're creating stuff early, but it will remain 0-0 after 2 minutes. 20 minutes gone here, and Bloemfontein Celtic do have a goal kick, which they take short. Very quiet first half so far since that opening highlight just after the kickoff. At Mokoena will find Mahua here. The maestro down the wing puts the ball in for Boyson. The shot blocked yet again, so we're creating chances, but not able to get shots on target so far, although we do keep possession. Malangu, Mokoena, now Nlapo. Boyson for Malangu. He'll have a crack, but that's gone well wide, so we're definitely getting into the right area of the pitch, but nothing on target so far as it remains 0-0. 32nd minute, and it is Bloemfontein Celtic who were on the attack, but the ball does end up in the box, and Gunga tidies things up for us, rolls us across goal, which usually isn't ideal. Finds Doob, though there was no real pressure on us from Bloemfontein, so we will go forward. A couple of players on yellow cards, both Dube and Walters, but we get the ball into the box here from Malangu. Tight angle, then Boyson. Oh, how has he missed that? That was a golden chance. Now Mahua goes down in the box, but really good chance there for Boyson after the attempt from Malangu at the post. And I think Boyson, not sure if that was saved or it hit the post as well, but great chance for us to go 1-0 up there, but we do blow it. We are back on the attack, but Mahua has an attempted cross, which is blocked, and it will go out for a corner. But yeah, Boyson really should have been putting that away, and they do head away the danger from that corner, do Bloemfontein Celtic. And it looks like it's going to remain 0-0 as we get up to the 35-minute mark, although we are on the attack again from Mahua. Another cross block, and it remains 0-0. Although this is a good chance now for Bloemfontein Celtic on the counter. They just hold the ball up briefly there through their striker. Now Delange on the left-hand side for them, just making his way in towards the box, back for Impoto. And then it's a header from Villion just over the bar. So a couple of chances at both ends there, but still 0-0 as we get closer to half-time. 43 minutes, and we do have a free kick here. Mahua, that's a bit of a weird one, was going for the inside out, but unfortunately it's gone straight into the Bloemfontein keeper's hands. Headed away from Mofokeng is his clearance, but they do get possession back through De Long, and he makes his way forward down the left-hand side, or at least he tries to. Mahua pressing him quite nicely, but they do recycle possession. Now the ball goes up for Jafta, I believe that is. Now it's gone forward for De Long on the left-hand side yet again. Back to Jafta, then Impoto. He puts the ball over for Ladlo. And now it's back out to Jafta. So they're keeping possession quite nicely here. Bloemfontein, which is worrying. Gets past Olivares. That's good effort. And, oh, that's pretty unlucky. But they do go 1-0 up here just before half time, 2-2 Bloemfontein. Lamenza here, first shot blocked pretty clearly, but the goalkeeper committed in the second one. It was just a simple tap, and it was Jafta on this left-hand side. He just skinned Olivares here somehow. You can see the first shot blocked. The goalkeeper had already gone to his knees, and the defence just didn't react to the second attempt. And we looks like we're going to be 1-0 down going into half-time, and indeed that is the case. So on the whole, if we look at these stats, you can see that we've looked the slightly better team. We haven't been as dominant as we would like. We've only had the 2 shots on target, but their 1 shot on target did go in the back of the net, so fair play to them. Playing only averagely so far, it's fair to say, only 6 shots compared to 4. Usually we do dominate games a bit more than that, so hopefully we can improve in the second half. A few players on quite average ratings here as well, the likes of Dubé, Lapo, Mahua, and Malangu. So not sure if we're going to try and let these guys play it out. We might take Lapo off for Kubeka, in fact, just because Kubeka has performed very well in that box-to-box midfield role for us so far this season. And I've been flirting with the idea of bringing him into the first team anyway. Not sure if Lapo has had quite the impact that we were hoping for after we did bring him in, but certainly a lot of areas that we can improve on in the second half, and at the moment we will need to, otherwise we will be losing our first final in charge here at SuperSport. And we will make that substitution in the box-to-box midfield role right before half-time. Lapo not playing well enough on a 6.4, and his overall form justifies taking him off at the moment, so we're going to bring Kubeka on for him. I think we'll leave it like that for now. Kenny Mahu not on a great rating, but both him and Malangu have carried their weight pretty nicely so far this season. They've been pretty good for the most part, so we'll give them a bit more time to try and find some form, but we are going to be kicking off the second half playing left to right, and hopefully we can at the very least equalise to make this game will give us a bit of hope in this game. We do have an early chance that's blocked, but it gets fed back out and it will remain 1-0 early in the second half. 53rd minute, and Bloemfontein Celtic with a dangerous area for a free kick here. They put a ball into the mixer. Mokoena heads it away, and Mahu is going to get on the end of this. This is a good counter-attacking opportunity for our front two. He makes his way past his man. He tries to square it then for Malangu. He possibly could have done that a bit sooner. He eventually is able to get a shot off, but it is straight at the goalkeeper. So Mahu potentially not having a very good game today, which, to be fair, he's probably due a bad game. He's been so good for us so far this season, but would be nice if he got his butt into gear soon. Otherwise, we might have to make a change, but it is still 1-0 as we approach the hour mark. 60 minutes gone here, and Malangu, look, he probably could have got set up from by Mahua before, but he still is on a 6.4 rating. As we've seen in the last few games that we've played, Gordinho has been in quite good form in the second team for us, so I think we're going to make that change. We will take Malangu off for Gordinho. Hopefully he can bring that form from the rotation team into the first team, and straight off the back of making that sub, it is a highlight. Bloemfontein Celtic trying to clear their lines, but we do intercept the ball there. Boyson with a good interception, and we get the ball out to Moffa King. Plays the ball in for Gordinho already, trying to get into the game early. Boyson back for Moffa King. Walters with a shot, but is straight at Lekesa in goal for Bloemfontein. Still 1-0 just after the hour mark. 65 minutes gone here. Bloemfontein holding possession inside their own half at the moment, as they start to just go forward ever so slightly. Not that they really need to, although that's a really good interception from Kubeka, and the ball falls to Gordinho in the box. He's made his way to the byline, and it is a penalty. He gets tripped up. It was a really innocuous position there. He was on such a tight angle, but Potsane has taken him down. It did look pretty clear-cut. He will get a yellow card, and this is a great opportunity for us to get back in this game. Moffa King with the penalty. Can he slot it away to equalise? With 25 to go, he just beats the goalkeeper in the bottom left corner, and we are back in this 1-all after 66 minutes, and they've gifted us a bit of a chance in this game, because up until then, hadn't been creating a heck of a lot of dangerous looking chances, just that Boyson one in the first half, but it's now 1-all with 20 to go. 71st minute, and yet again it is Bloemfontein on the ball, and they do keep possession after they put a long ball forward. Villion on the ball. They now get up to De Long and Poto. De Long back on the ball. He's just outside the box. Villion with a shot. Oh, that's incredibly soft. One shot straight after we get our goal for a penalty, and they get back 2-1 ahead. It's a good strike from Villion, but to be fair, it looked like Gunga was going to get to that, so it's a bit disappointing. They were just knocking the ball about reasonably nicely. Villion, I thought we closed him down, and Gunga does get a hand to it too. So frustrating goal to concede one from outside the box. And just like that, Bloemfontein back in front 2-1 after 75 minutes. 78 minutes gone here, and Kenny Mahua is on a red heart. His rating has gone up a little bit since half time, but still not really doing anything for us today, unfortunately. So we're going to bring on Momade and hope he can provide some magic like he did in the derby for us yesterday. He'll come on to the right wing for Mahua, but we need an equaliser in the remaining 12 minutes, and hopefully that change will inspire something like it did in yesterday's game. And yeah, 2-1 with 10 to go, as we now have a throw-in the right end of the pitch. This could be something. Boyson back to Moffa King, and now Kubeka Walters on a yellow card. We've got a few players on yellow cards in this game. Mokawena puts the ball across, or at least tries to, head away from Bloemfontein, but we do get possession back, and Olivares shuffles that back up to Mamade, back out to Olivares. He puts the ball across just outside the box. Kubeka, good chance there for Mamade, but he's put in the back of the net, but he's offside. He was in a great position. It looked a bit too good to be true, and indeed it is. A nice finish from him, but this time he is offside, about a stride offside, so it's a fair decision. Really nice finish, but it won't count. Still 2-1 with 8 minutes to go. 93 and a half minutes. We are approaching the end of referee's time. We need a goal to take this to, not sure if it's extra time or penalties, but either way, we do need a goal. As Moffa King on the ball, Kubeka tries to put a ball in the box. It is cleared away from Bloemfontein, and now we have to build from the back very quickly. Is Mahua, it is Daldo Mahua, the defender, in for Dubé, but we're knocking it about a bit too much at the back. We've told them to be more direct and a bit more high tempo, but it hasn't worked, and we lose our first game of the season here at SuperSport United. And unfortunately, it comes in a cup final. We lose the MTN 8 to the defending African champions in Bloemfontein Celtics. This is going to sting a bit. Been a little while since we've lost a final. It's fair to say, a couple of years anyway. But yeah, that's disappointing. In the end, our second half was actually quite good. You'll see the stats shortly off the back of this trophy lift. Yeah, fair play to them. They were a lot more clinical with their chances than we were. That was the difference. In the end, they actually tried to give us a way back into that game through that penalty in the second half, but they struck back immediately as their goalkeeper's about to do the cartwheel. Usually you love to see it, but in this case you hate to see it. But yeah, fair to play to Bloemfontein Celtic. They pick up the first bit of silverware in South Africa for the season. And here are the stats. You can see the second half. They only had 2 shots on target in the whole game, Bloemfontein. So again, that's happened a little bit lately. So maybe Gunga in goal is something that we can improve on in the second half of the season, because at the moment he's the player with, I think, the lowest average rating alongside Nlapo. So maybe we're going to need to make some changes there. Not sure about in goal in terms of what we've already got at the club, but maybe Kubeka can come in for Nlapo. You can see he did a pretty good job when he came onto the pitch. But our second half, we only had about 6 shots to 4, 1 shot on target to 2 in that first half. So we definitely improved in that second half. We should have got a lot more goals than we did. You flip the XG around and that game goes as expected. So bit of a frustrating one, but in the end, at least it's a competition that the board were only expecting us to reach the final of, and one that they're not overly fussed about. It's in the sort of desired instead of required sort of achievement that they want from us. So I think we'll get away with that and not be too much worse off for it in terms of our security at the club. But a disappointing start in our first final here at SuperSport. But in the end, as we said, Bloemfontein a lot more clinical with their chances now. Front three, Boyson aside, although he did miss a really good chance in that first half, where he hit almost an open net to go for and hit the post after Malangu hit the post. And then the front three on the whole just weren't clinical enough with the chances that they had today. So yeah, disappointing, but it happens sometimes, and at least it wasn't in a important Premier Division or a African Champions League game. You can see their wingers were quite good, were the Bloemfontein ones. So yeah, we'll move on and hopefully pick things back up in the league and the Champions League off the back of this result. So unfortunately, not a great first final in charge here at SuperSport. Bloemfontein Celtic going a couple in a row trophy-wise now. Of course, they did win the Super Cup to start this season, so fair play to them. In terms of top goal scorer for the full competition, was a Cape Town City player, so no one really getting a lot of goals for us in the competition. They were pretty evenly shared, obviously, but top assist, Kenny Maho with 6 assists, so up until that final, he was having a good tournament. Unfortunately, as I said, our front three didn't quite deliver for us in that game, but sometimes that happens, much like the team who's should have got on today. That happened a little bit this season, but yeah, it happened in this game. Hopefully we can get back on track in our next game, which will be in the league against Amazulu. That's a good chance for us to get back into the swing of things. But that will do for today's episode. As I said, unfortunately, our first loss of the season coming in a cup final, but at least hopefully we can use that if we face these guys again in the league later this season, which might actually be tomorrow's episode. Now I'll have a quick look, or if we meet them in the Champions League later stages, hopefully we can use the revenge talk on these guys and get a better result. But if you did enjoy that game, as I said, unfortunately we lost, but sometimes it happens, and please do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on today's video, and if you're new around here and enjoy what you saw today, also hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. In terms of when we're going to be coming back, I think the game that does stand out is the rematch, although that's going to be dependent on when the Champions League games happen, although you can see that we're actually penciled in for the end of November, and as I said, depending on who we get in the draw, we'll see when we come back for group games. I'd imagine most of the games in our group we are going to be expected to be winning, but the game that stands out in November is the rematch with Bloemfontein Celtic. We can use the revenge team talk then and hopefully get a better result against them on the 23rd of November, as long as the Telkom knockout doesn't push that game further behind. But that is the plan, to be coming back for that game in tomorrow's episode, and that is as long as I don't feel too bad after my first COVID jab. I have had it this morning, so we'll see how we're feeling when I wake up tomorrow, and if there's any bad effects and there's no video out on the channel tomorrow, that is probably the reason why. I'll also update you guys on Twitter and my socials if that is the case. It is Shaun Does FM on Twitter, on Facebook, and on Instagram as well, if you want to give me a follow on there as well. And we also do have a Discord. Pretty sure no one's in there yet, but if you want to come chat with me in my Discord, then feel free to. There is a link down below. But that will do for today's episode. As I said, thank you very much for watching. Until tomorrow, where hopefully we'll be taking on Bloemfontein Celtic. Thank you very much for watching. Keep on keeping on, and I will see you then. Cheers.